Dates 8 years, then cheated on. I want to curl up and die. 26-year-old straight man, I caught my 8-year-old girlfriend cheating on me through text messaging. She was literally passed out with phone in hand and text app with the dude up. He's a coworker and she swears she hasn't done anything other than, which I don't believe. She began her first full-time job as an LPN around 9 months ago, and she struggled to balance working full-time and having a social life. She wanted to do significantly fewer activities with friends, and she needed her days off to be spent at home watching TV and doing nothing. It also seemed to have killed her urge. I chose to be patient with her since I had begun full-time work 1.5 years before her, and the existential dread of working for a livelihood was still vivid in my mind. But things never got any better, not really. Then something strange occurred. She claims she still loves me and doesn't know why she did it, but she does feel like we stalled a little, which I agree. But I tend to put that stagnation on her as I try to get her out and about all the time with little success. The trust has vanished. 8 years squandered. I feel completely useless. A combination of wanting to punch a hole in the wall, give her another opportunity, and want to leave in the morning. I'm not sure what to do. I've been in this situation before, but my previous ex-boyfriends and I had only dated for a few months at most. The only silver lining, which is really just bitterness, is that I earn almost twice as much as she does, and I take all of her friends with me, since they've been my friends for longer than I've dated her, and she only sees them when I'm around. After rereading, I see the writing has been on the walls for a while, but I don't want it to be twisted. I've been pleased with her up until now, even though we didn't get out that frequently. I'm at a loss on what to do. I'm very heartbroken. Edit. Next day update. After a pretty sleepless night, I started moving my out today. I contacted her many times about how she tossed away our relationship after all we gone through, and how I'm simply crushed. She'll be with relatives out of state this weekend, so I'll get the remainder of my stuff moved. I know I have to let her go at this point. I'm not sure how I'll feel in 5 minutes, much alone tomorrow. But I know it's all over now. She had so many opportunities before being caught, as well as 1 or 2 after, to make things right, and she blew them all. Man, all I want is to be liked. Edit. 1 week or so later. I'm not sure whether anybody will read this now that it's old, but I may keep it as a diary for myself. Alternatively, you may take it offline and perform the same thing. Anyway, this has been the most difficult week of my life. We severed it entirely when we met in person on Monday. She apologized and claimed she still loves me, but we can't be together just now. Her for being such a coward and included the "still love you" line. 1/3 of the time I've been weeping uncontrollably and thinking about what might have / should have been, what I did wrong, my failure or perceived failure, and essentially everything regarding the termination of the relationship. Another third of the time, I honestly believe I've been lucky and that she wasn't good for me for much longer than I'm prepared to accept. I've considered how I'm going to take action to regain control of my life, such as counseling, going to the gym, and doing things I've wanted to do for the previous 8 years. The last third is a messed up combination of shouting into the abyss that she's an awful person that I'm completely going to take back if she lets me, and that it will wreck my life. This thought pattern repeats itself throughout the day. Last night was the first time I slept for more than 4 hours, due to an Ambien and some melatonin, just 6 hours. Work has been difficult, but I've managed to show up every day so far. I signed up for Tinder and Bumble on Monday, and they were both removed today. That was a colossal blunder on my part. Her saying she's no longer attracted to me is going to with me for a long time, I'm sure. Since then, I've seen one of my friends every day. That has momentarily alleviated the situation. Right now, being alone is very painful. I can't bear listening to music or playing video games, 2 of my favorite escapes. Final update. In a nutshell, after 7 years of dating, they decided to marry. She cheats, I catch her, and we split up. For a time, I lose my mind. It's the worst sensation of despair I've ever had in my life. There are no children present. 4.5 months later. About 2 weeks after the breakup, I was placed on Lexapro and Buspire. I'm now weaning myself off Lexapro now that the main depressed symptoms have largely subsided. I've been seeing a therapist who has been quite helpful in enabling me to think more privately and sensibly about things. Not only my ex, but also other relationships and life problems. I've only spoken to my ex once since we broke it off, and it was to tell her that I could owe her some highway tolls. But at this moment, I have no desire to speak to her about the breakup or anything else. I've been dating a couple different folks. All of them I've informed that I'm not seeking to be exclusive. Dating is a lot of fun, if not a little expensive. I don't enjoy spending too much time alone with my thoughts, therefore it's kept me occupied. Also, holy sh*t, I had no idea how fantastic could be. I assumed it was an issue with me, but I'm very sure my ex was just harassed. I'll admit that I miss the sense of having my person. Just someone I can tell anything to and know they'll be there for me. A significant other, you know. I feel like I've exposed a lot of blind spots I've had and really began evaluating the requirements and expectations I need in a relationship after dating other individuals, reflecting on my relationship with my ex, and working through both of these things with my therapist. They were most certainly not being met by my ex, and they aren't all met by the folks I've been dating. I realize it will be a long journey, but I just wanted to provide an update as a ray of hope for all of you who are going through it. It will get easier. You are not to blame. You are not the issue. Don't remain with a cheater, for you can do so much better. And if nothing else, counseling is an amazing tool for getting through this really tough period. Story 2. Ex-wife drops back into my life after 6 years. My ex and I met in college and were passionately in love for 4 years. After graduating in 2010, I married. I discovered her in a year-long romance with a colleague in 2013. I was devastated. She said they loved one another, were soulmates, didn't intend to harm anybody, and so on. Only 3 months later, we divorced. I was devastated. Worst period of my life. I was in mourning for nearly a year. They got married, according to what I've heard. I grew tired of being sad one day, so I let go of her totally in my heart, got off my buttocks, and actually went on. I'm a programmer by trade, and I opted to work as a pre-sales solutions consultant for one of the world's largest software businesses. That job has been amazing. I've gone all around the globe, every continent, as well as all of the main cities. Life has been an incredible trip. I never dated seriously or remarried. I'm not against casual dating and have dated gorgeous ladies from all around the world. After my marital experience, I determined that wasn't my route and have been content ever since. Sometimes lonely, particularly around the holidays, but mostly content. I'd had enough of traveling for a while, so I switched roles and am now based in a major city in the United States. On a Saturday morning, I'm sitting at a restaurant having breakfast and reading the news, Facebook, Reddit, and so on, when someone asks my name. Oh, my goodness. The voice sounded like one of my female coworkers, so I glanced up to say hello, and my mouth fell. It's my ex-wife calling. I'm over 2,000 miles away from our old hometown, haven't seen her in almost 6 years, and she's still there. I was taken aback. All I could say was hello. I hate to admit it, but she was stunning. She complimented me on my appearance. She inquired if I was busy and said that she didn't want to disturb me but would want to speak with me. Sure, I replied. We ended up talking for more than 2 hours and continued for a couple of hours when we went for a walk in a nearby park. We were making small conversation about common friends and my trip adventures from over the world. Except for the elephant in the room. She eventually asks whether I've remarried at any time. No, I answered, once was enough. That appeared to make her unhappy. We walked for almost a minute in silence before she began. I have to express that I'm really sorry for what I did to you. You didn't earn it. It was terrifying and has been with me ever since. There was nothing wrong with you. I said you married someone else after falling in love with them. That was something I couldn't stop you from doing. I wanted you to be content. Then I said, are you content? Ha, she said, one of those joking chuckles. Her informed me that the OM and she argued all the time, and that he ended up cheating on her and left her 2 years into their marriage. I apologize for what had occurred to you. I understand how much that can hurt. She said that she was aware. When her heart was crushed, All she could think about was how she had done the same thing to me, which pained her. She claims she was depressed for about a year, participated in self-destructive conduct, and then went to counseling to find out why she was so messed up. She claimed that was incredibly beneficial, and she eventually grew up a few years ago and now takes herself responsibility for her own behavior. She ended up coming to this city because she had a favorite aunt who lives there, and following her second divorce before the age of 30, she wanted to make major changes in her life. The modifications were evident. She is unquestionably more mature. We said our goodbyes because I needed to get ready for an evening with friends. We exchanged contact information and decided to meet for coffee and discuss more. That's what we've been doing. We're both unattached. I suppose there's no harm in trying. She clearly wants more from me. She wants me to want her again. She drops hints the size of the Pacific Ocean. I have to admit that she still has that something special that makes my heart skip a beat. Something I can't put into words. Something I hadn't discovered in anybody else since she. I suppose it's just chemistry between us. To be honest, I'd like to be more than just friends. I want to hug and kiss her. She wants it as well, but I've made no steps as of yet. What's holding me back? Fear. I'm terrified I'll get injured again. If she had been a casual girlfriend who had dumped me, I would have shrugged it off and gone on. She wasn't though. She was my wife and my life's love. I used to fantasize about her reappearing in my life. So here it is, and I'm terrified. I'm not sure I'll be able to offer her that much of myself again. I'm much more guarded of my heart these days. We've both matured a lot, and the past feels a century ago. I'd be head over heels in love with her if she wasn't who she is. I'm torn between pursuing love with her again and letting the past go. It may seem corny, but it had to be her. It had to be her out of everyone I might have met here.